Welcome to the adventures of Chuck and Carrie. This isn't our first adventure, but it's our first time sharing the sights with you. Today we're heading up north of our home base in Phoenix to Prescott, Arizona. So let's go. One thing we learned from this trip is that it pays to get to Prescott early so you can get a good parking spot on the courthouse square.
Our first stop is at the Lone Spur Cafe, where we're having a nice hearty breakfast to start the day. I had the Skinny Cowboy, which was a skillet with hash browns and eggs and some veggies in there to be healthy. And Chuck went with the old standard bacon and eggs. Once we were finished with breakfast, it was time to take a walk around the square.
As you might imagine, Whiskey Row is a very popular attraction here in Prescott, but there are lots of other things to see and do without having to get back in the car and schlep across town. It's all right here. By the way, you can easily spot the tourists because they say Prescott. You'll find that most people who live here in Arizona just call it Prescott.
The Palace Saloon is Arizona's oldest saloon. Back in its heyday, its most famous patrons were Doc Holliday and Wyatt and Virgil Earp.
Here in Prescott, they don't have a ball drop. They drop that giant boot up there. It comes down the pole and we ring in the new year.
The current Yavapai County courthouse was built in 1916, just a few years after Arizona became the 48th U.S. state. It's listed on the National Register of Historic Places. The previous courthouse building was destroyed by fire in 1892.
One thing is for sure, if you like to walk around and do a bit of shopping, you'll definitely enjoy a trip to Prescott. And while you're walking around Courthouse Square, be sure and check out the statue of Rough Rider Bucky O'Neill, who was once the city's mayor back in the late 1800s. Well, we're back on the road, and this time we're headed to Jerome, Arizona, which is another one of our favorite spots. Jerome sits high in the mountains, with the highest point at around 5,000 feet. It was founded in the late 1800s, and there was once a copper mine here. Speaking of copper, do you think your aim is good enough to throw a penny into one of the toilets in the old saloon? No matter where you are in Jerome, the views of the Verde Valley are spectacular. Just be sure and come on a clear day. If you come when it's raining, especially when there's thunder and lightning, you might feel like you're a little closer to the clouds than you care to be.
Okay, so we made it to Jerome. I'm out of breath because it's uphill.
It's all uphill from here.
See, there's like terraces or steps going all up there, but they got cool stuff here. The nickname is the wickedest town in the West. I don't know why, but
Because you'll be out of breath by the time you get done walking around here. It's cool though.
The New York Sun bestowed that moniker upon Jerome in 1903, perhaps due to the fact that the town's most successful businesses were those that dealt with alcohol and prostitution. The town's population was also nearly 80% male at the time. You'll definitely want to bring comfortable walking shoes with you for this trip. It's definitely not for people who are afraid of a little exercise.
if you've been to Jerome before and haven't been here recently, they added these new parking meter things. So now you gotta pay to park. It's $4. It's well worth it.
If I had to sum up Jerome, I'd say that it's part Old West, along with a cool modern art community, and some really great food too. Just don't eat too much or you may not make it back up the hill to the car. Oh yeah, and if you like wine tasting, there's lots of that here in Jerome. We decided to pass on the wine and instead started making our way back to the car so we can start heading home before it gets too late. Just a quick stop for some ice cream before we head out. Lucky for us, it wasn't a busy day and there was no line.
Okay, so we were going to go home, and just like any other weekend in the Phoenix area, southbound 17 was a disaster with a 1-hour backup. So we are now heading to Sedona.
And if you've never been to Sedona, it's an absolute must. The Red Rocks are like something most people have never seen. Just be prepared for the crowds. It's very touristy. You probably know McDonald's by their golden arches, but what about turquoise arches? That's right, city officials in Sedona gave the golden arches a thumbs down for fear that they would clash with the natural landscape. One more stop on the way out of town, and it's another one of our favorite places. It's the Sun Silver West Gallery, filled with lots of cool artistic items, perfect for anyone who's looking to do a little decorating for the Southwest theme. I could spend all day in this place. You can find so many things here to decorate the outside or inside of your home. I definitely recommend allowing yourself 30 minutes to an hour to check out all the cool stuff they have for sale. Now, I don't know if I believe in the power of the vortex or not, but one time we were here and our daughter's phone quit working for good after she sat on the vortex bench. So don't say we didn't warn you. Even if you come and just browse, it's a fun place to look around, check out the merchandise, maybe take a few photos, and enjoy the stunning views of the Red Rocks. Much like the Grand Canyon, the views in Sedona are always changing. The angle of the sun and a different vantage point make the scenery look different every time. We're back on I-17 now, headed back to the Valley of the Sun, and a much-needed break from all of this driving. Our fingers are crossed in hopes that it'll be smooth sailing from now on. Well, maybe just one more stop since we have to drive right past the Rock Springs Cafe in Black Canyon City, so we're stopping in for a quick lunch. Well, that's it for this adventure. We hope you had fun riding along.
Be sure to give us a like and click the subscribe button and the bell to get notified when we post something new. Thanks for watching.